Good morning, Lexi. It's Raptor Freak here. Sunday morning. It's a rainy morning in Toronto in the full 1-6, baby. Today we have the homecoming of Jonas Valanciunas, Lithuania. Yes, my Lithuanian cousin. I'm Estonian. Lithuanian cousin Jonas coming back. A grizzled old veteran with a beard. And when he has a turtleneck, he looks like a James Bond villain. I love this guy. He's always been one of my favorite Raptors forever. And I find it surprising that he hasn't been back to Toronto in a long time. That's weird because I thought he'd been back on other teams. I'm pretty sure he's been back since we traded him, but maybe not. I don't know. That's very weird. It could have been the alignment of the schedule with things getting cut off, and that maybe was he supposed to come after the pandemic started, and that's why we didn't see him when he was on Memphis. The Memphis didn't ever make it to Toronto in that season, the shortened bubble season. I don't know. It's very weird. But Jonas is here no matter what, and this is fantastic. It's going to be an interesting game today. The Pelicans are not one of the top Western teams. They're not record-wise, but they've been playing better as of late. They started the season really bad with a long losing streak. They lost a lot of games in the beginning, but they've been winning more games more recently. So they're somebody we can't take lightly. And they have a couple of different things about them that are very dangerous. And they're going to be tests for this Raptor team that we have assembled now. They're going to be tests. And one of them is Jonas Valanciunas in himself is the biggest player is going to be on the court today. He's got a lot of skills for a big guy. He's developed even more since we've traded him for Marc Gasol in the championship year. He has got more of an outside shot. Even more. He was joking that Nick Nurse was the first guy who kind of enticed him to start trying to take threes, and that now he wants to use that against the coach today in the game. He's like, yeah, Nick was the one who told me to start taking threes, and now I'm going to use this weapon against him today. That's what Jonas said in the last couple of days, and I love that competitiveness, but also that kind of like love and familiarity of the family of them from before, but still, he wants to come here and kill us today, y'all. So we got to try and contain Jonas Valanciunas as best as we can. And this is going to be a test every time because we're not running with a true center like we talked about many times over and over again this season. It's just going to be by committee. In the beginning game, it'll be really interesting to see our starting lineup up against Jonas. How do they handle him? Who's going to body him? Is it going to be OG? It'd be interesting to see OG bodying him up. I don't know if Scotty should do it. That'll be tough for Scotty, but he's probably going to try. But OG on him will be fun. OG had his interview yesterday, a press conference yesterday, and it was very eccentric, to say the least. I love OG Anunoby so much. He is such an interesting, weird guy, but he is such a cool dude too. And he was getting interviewed yesterday. First of all, the interviewer asked him a question he didn't really like at first, and then he said, well, I didn't hear your answer. Like he was trying not to hear him. It's pretty funny. And then he said, he got mad at another reporter for trying to ask him about why aren't you taking more shots? He's like, well, I took a lot of shots, and like we're happy. We don't have any problems. Like these reporters, they ask really dumb questions. Like they've been good at different times of the season this year where they've asked really good, insightful questions, but some of the shit they're asking the players right now is just stupid. Like honestly, don't be asking questions that are divisive. Questions where they have to say something that may get the team into turmoil or have some sort of continuity or togetherness problems just because somebody said something stupid. Like this stuff that's happening with Boston right now with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown is silly and stupid, but it just shows the insecurity of Jason Tatum as a player, honestly. I mean, I can understand giving somebody praise and not denigrating somebody in the same sentence. Sure, I understand that sentiment, but man, you're a little too sensitive to be in the NBA, Tatum. And either you need to play better than Jaylen or do just as good or something. I don't know what y'all need to do. I don't care. Y'all are the Celtics. I hate you. So every kind of division y'all have right now is great. It's great. Oh, yeah, I want to see a conflict between you and Jaylen Brown as far as it can go. Oh, yeah. But anyway, on the other side, we don't need that. And so OG shutting down the reporters yesterday when they start to come at him with questions about who's getting the ball enough or who's getting the ball versus who. We don't have none of that. He said, all I care about is the win. And we won, didn't we? That's all he said. And then at the end of the interview, he was so awesome. He turned his little rolly chair and he rolled right out of the screen. And I just love OG. In that interview, he talked about how him and Jonas used to sit on the plane next to each other, and they were really good friends when they were on the team together. OG was a rookie, and Jonas was his traveling buddy. And he said he's real funny and they have a good time. So it'll be interesting to see if OG gets to partially cover Jonas, because he can't cover him by himself. It's going to be the kind of thing where you body him up and then somebody's going to have to run over, just like we were talking about yesterday with Fred VanVleet helping on Hassan Whiteside in the Utah game. So we're going to need more of that against Jonas, because he can dominate in a lot of ways in this game, because he's going to be the biggest guy. He's very skilled and veteran. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's gotten more and more comfortable out on the court as his career's gone on. Because in his time with us, you can remember he was a little awkward at times. He didn't necessarily have the best offensive skills when he showed up in Toronto as a rookie, and he developed them. He got more and more confident, better footwork, better everything, and he's just a very better polished player. It's very interesting to see our big three guys from that era, DeMar, Kyle, and Jonas, the different kind of success they're having away from the Raptors on the teams that they've gone to, and they all have excelled and continue to grow since they've left us. I mean, I won't say Kyle, just because we haven't seen enough of a sample size. But DeMar and Jonas, for sure, these guys have taken their games up to other levels since they've left the Raptors. And I love Jonas Valanciunas. I'm going to be slightly rooting for him tonight, but I want us to still get that W. Yeah, that's all we're all about here in Toronto now, baby. We got a 5-game win streak. We win today, we go on a 6-game win streak. That's 6 for the 6. So let's get 6 for the 6 today. Jonas is so happy to be back. Feel the vibe, feel the love. This is where his young family started. This is where he got married. This is where his children were born. This is an important city to him. Toronto will always be a home to him, and we will always have a place for him here all the way through your career, and come back, baby, when you're retired, and we will celebrate you, Jonas Valanciunas, the Big Science, as Drake dubbed him that one time. I love that nickname for him, Big Science. All right, I'd be remiss if I didn't start talking about Brandon Ingram right now, because Brandon Ingram is a kind of player that's all over the place, an all-around player. He can score, he can assist, he can rebound, he can steal, he can do a lot of stuff. He's got length to block shots. He's somebody we're going to have to give a case of OG-itis to. Oh, yeah, we can give him a little bit of Pascal fever, a little bit of Barnes syndrome. We need to do all that today. Make sure that this man is contained, because he's the one who really pushes them and leads them in scoring and getting shots quickly and stuff like that. So Ingram, we got a key on him. And then they've got some other good guards, like that Graham guy who used to be on the Hornets is now on the Pelicans, and he's a nasty young player. He can score too. Devontae Graham, and they've got Nickel Alexander Walker. So their guards and Jonas Valanciunas are really their main good players. We got to watch out for Jonas, and then we got to watch out for these wings, and none of this three-point shooting stuff that's been happening lately. None of this first half 70 points crap, Raptors. Let's hold them down from the start and not let them do nothing. Now, the injuries are looking like this, y'all. Utah's still out on COVID protocols, unfortunately. And then on the other side, there's some interesting injuries. Josh Hart is out. He's not going to be playing today. He's a starter for them. That's pretty good. And then this guy, oh, man, this guy always bugs me when we have to play him. Sadarowski, the guy who sounds like the rice brand, Sadarans or whatever. Sadarowski is out today, that shooter, that backup guy, that European guy off the bench. He always annoys me when we have to play him, whether he was on other teams in the past. So it's nice to see that he's out. All right, let me see what y'all are saying here. Kenrick, good morning. Yes, JV tonight. The game is 6 p.m. Eastern time, y'all. It's an hour earlier, a Sunday earlier hour. It's not earlier in the afternoon, which is good, but it's not too late it's a nice time, 6 o'clock. And, of course, we don't have that lazy Sunday crowd coming in there to maybe sluggish the building down with their yawns and, oh, Sunday, rainy Sunday. Oh, gosh, I should have took a nap before the game, kind of stuff. So, Sue, good morning, Sue. Let's go, Sue. Yes. Guys, today is Sue's birthday. Let's wish Sue a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sue. I hope that today is a perfect day for you. I know it's raining right now, but maybe you're the type of person like me that enjoys a nice rainy day, just a nice, calm, rainy day. And also today, yes, Jonas Valanciunas is back. We're playing the Pelicans. I hope that the Raptors can extend their win streak to 6 and get that big W today for you, Sue, on your birthday. Everybody wish Sue a happy birthday, y'all. This is a great day. One of the true original OG Raptor Freaks that have been here since the start. Day one, Raptor Freaks. Happy birthday, Sue. So happy to wish you that today. All right, I'm a fun guy. Let's see. Alexander Walker is the one that scares me the most. He has Raptor killer material. Yeah, he's related to Shea, right? They're cousins or something like that. And, he's not as good as Shea, but they have a lot of similarities in their games. And it's very interesting. I haven't seen Nickel enough. So I don't really understand his game totally. And when I've seen him, he hasn't been so much in the forefront or important. He's always been kind of a role player still. But I can see the potential for this youngster to get better and better. And he's a Canadian too, right? So this is another one of these cases where we got these Canadian kids that want to play against Toronto and kick our ass, because they may have a connection to the city of Toronto, or they're just Canadian and they want to do it. So hopefully we contain him along with Ingram and Graham. These wings are really dangerous. They're a dangerous part of this team. And this team, the Pelicans just beat Golden State, y'all. Just a couple days ago, they hung Golden State with a loss. And I tell you, it wasn't the Golden State. It was similar to what we saw when they came here. There was no Steph Curry and there was no Draymond. But they did have Wiggins. They did have Iguodala. They did have Otto Porter. They had Poole. They had some big names for this game, but the Pelicans beat the Warriors in their last game. And this game was on Thursday. They've been sitting for 2 days, so they're rested. The Pelicans are rested. And the other thing about the Pelicans that's interesting is because they're a bottom-dwelling team, they're out of the playoffs right now with their record. I don't think this border quarantine issue that Utah and Golden State were trying to avoid already this season is going to happen with them because they're not as invested in this season and continue to get wins. So I think that they'll travel with everybody over. I don't think we're going to see any scratches because there haven't been any announced today yet. They're basically Satoransky and Josh Hart that are out, and Zion, of course, Zion. Yeah, that whole situation with Zion's really disappointing to the NBA, I'm sure, because they really want to make him such a market machine. They want to market the hell out of Zion, make the Pelicans have some sort of superstar so they can put them in marquee matchups. But now this guy, this turkey in the offseason, he goes and turns into a turkey. He does a Charles Barkley. He balloons up and comes into camp completely out of shape. And now he can't even play this season. It's really messed up and kind of sad in some ways. I know he had an injury. He was trying to come back from it. But this is bad because, honestly, this guy's going to lose his NBA career soon if he doesn't get his act together, Zion. And I've heard that he's actually left the team now, kind of like Dragic has left us, and he's working out on his own with the team monitoring him. But he's on his own. He's not even with the team in any kind of real way other than he is on their roster like Goran Dragic is on ours. So that's a really weird situation, the Zion Williamson situation. I know that the NBA is super disappointed because in the last couple of years, they promoted the hell out of him just like Simmons. So it's like two of their little market boys that they want to put out and put in our face over and over again. They're completely screwing up for them this year. And I kind of really love it because the NBA, I hate that they write the storylines that they want to see and they don't actually go and take care of the storylines that are actually happening. Storylines like Fred VanVleet. That's who they should be covering, and that's who they should be pushing as somebody like they do with Simmons or Zion. They should be pushing people like Pascal and Fred, but they don't because they're in our country, and it doesn't serve them in the U.S. to promote Canadian players because that's not their market to them, which is, in a way, is very short-sighted. because honestly, the Toronto Raptors fans travel real well and we're in every single city, and it would serve you better to show us more because our brand of basketball is entertaining, exciting, and it's the future, baby. So NBA, you want to put on the freshest product that you have in the league, it's the Toronto Raptors. So you better start getting us on TV in the US more and start favoring us over teams like the Pelicans, because the Pelicans ain't even got Zion Williamson right now. Your little marketable person that you want to push. So maybe change your strategy. You don't pick the person. You got to let them earn it. You got to let them get on the court and play for a couple years and be badasses like Fred VanVleet, like Pascal Siakam. And then you push the hell out of them then. You don't give it to them before because they don't earn it. Zion didn't earn it, and neither did Simmons. So this is the thing I'm saying right now. That's my rant on this. You can pick your superstars, your future superstars, but pick better, all right? Pick better because you're picking some duds. Oh, yeah. That's my rant for you, Adam Silver. Baby, woo! All right, let's keep going. Sue saying, yes, have a solid game from top tip-off. Good defense all through. Good play all 48 minutes. No lulls, no stagnation on offense. Keep the ball going. Somebody's got to be hitting their shot at all times. Find different people, discover new stuff with Scotty, discover new stuff with Precious, discover new stuff with all of our guys doing different things. I really love this team when it's fully assembled because the possibilities are limitless with what we can do when we get out on the court, whether it's coming back on teams, whether it's blowing teams out, whether it's just doing nasty stuff on defense, or just seeing something really cool on offense that we didn't realize was going to happen, whether it's a lob or an amazing no-look pass or just like something that Scotty does where he just takes over, or Fred like he did in the last game in the third quarter. That kind of stuff is fun to see, and the Raptors are more and more capable of it as they mesh and congeal together as a mixture, as a whole compound together. They are all together, then the possibilities are limitless. Oh yeah, I love it. Yes, happy birthday, Sue, everybody. The Raptors need to win today because it's Sue's birthday. They got to get that W against the Pelicans just for Sue, Raptor Freak Sue. Oh yeah. All right, let's see. Yes, okay, Andrew, let's go! Yes! Cult of the Raptor Freak. Let's go. Keep the streak alive. I love that. It's 6 for the 6, baby. Let's get that 6 win in the 6, baby. Woo! And then it's Phoenix, baby. Whoa! It's Phoenix Suns. Yes. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're all pretty full strength from what I'm seeing on their games recently. So we will get a good test if they send the right team to us on Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Let's keep going. Sue says that Zion is in Portland working out. I wonder if he's in their practice facility and he's attending Portland games. I don't know. All right. We won't go too far into that tragic kind of stuff. That tragic. Let's see. Sue saying, yes, pushing all the wrong guys. It would be beneficial to them to pump us up. It will grow the league more. They want to increase international exposure, so start with us. Yes, Adam Silver. David Stern was an expansionist. He was somebody who wanted the world to fall in love with the NBA. And y'all have really been trying to get China involved, and you've done a good job. And since Yao Ming came in the league and different things like that, and you got these Chinese contracts, you want all continents in the world to be watching the NBA. You want people like Darren in Jakarta watching the NBA. So you need to appeal to your base. Do not shun the international team in this league that is the Toronto Raptors. There are many, many, many fans around the world, and we see how y'all slight us. And, I'm not saying this is on the same level in the world, in the real world with inequality, but you can see the lessons and the mechanisms of inequality in certain things. And one of them is in the NBA and how the Raptors get treated compared to the American teams. That is an example of inequality. For people who don't experience inequality in your life, you can feel it through something like being a Raptors fan and doing like this. And I'm not poo-pooing real inequality that's really serious bad problems. I'm not saying this is equal or anything like that, but it allows you to see kind of how the mechanism works or how it is in effect when you can see it on that level in that kind of way. Anyway, I'm just going into real world stuff like with inequality and stuff, because it's in every kind of different thing. And if you can see it in other places, you can understand it in the places that are really bad. So anyway, that may not have made total sense what I just said, but I think you kind of made sense. I don't know if you followed what I just said, but anyway, I'm a fun guy. I noticed Scotty plays heavy legs after sitting out. He'll be in rhythm soon again. He's hit the rookie walls a couple different times. He hit it after we came back from that two-week West Coast trip. He hit a rookie wall the other night in the second game of the back-to-back against who was it? Milwaukee. That there's different walls he's hit at different times, and he's going to. He's a rookie wall. Rookies hit rookie walls, and especially at different times. So yeah, I think you're right. He's going to look better today because he'll have had another day off yesterday. And, I'm just excited. I'm just excited because everybody, once Yuta gets back, everybody's there. We can really see the kind of things that Nick wants to do with his matchups and combinations and stuff like that. So let's go. Sue, Phoenix struggled against the Heat last night. They lost. They lost to the Heat. Yeah. And it was Kyle Lowry mostly directing them on that team. I know Tyler Hero had a big game and Duncan Robinson off the bench. And but they don't have Jimmy. They don't have Bam. It was really Kyle with the rest of the team that did it. And yeah, and Chris Paul was there. And there were a lot of good Suns playing in that game last night. But Miami beat them. And, that's the thing. We got to see what they had success with in their game and see if we can mimic it in different ways. Like hopefully Nick will look at tape from that game and get a piece of what he may need for Tuesday. Oh, yeah. I'm a fun guy. Good thing for us is Pascal Siakam always plays awesome against Suns, even if team is struggling. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. But when we play the Suns, Pascal usually does do really, really well. I can remember, I think it was the last time the Suns played here in Toronto, before they shut down the whole season and stuff. I went to that game, the Suns versus us in 2020 before the pandemic. And yeah, they were there. They were right then. I was realizing, man, this team's really good. They're going to be a top team soon because they were getting all the pieces together. This is before they had Chris Paul even. And then boom, they get Chris Paul and they go to the finals last year. And honestly, in some ways they probably should have won the finals. It's just that Scott Foster, Chris Paul relationship really figured into the finals last year. And I hate that happened. That the animosity between Chris Paul and Scott Foster, it was so great that it affected the outcome of the NBA finals. Because seriously, if you look at the stats, Scott Foster's involved in a game with Chris Paul. He loses because they have a personal vendetta. And it's all documented and it's all there. Chris Paul will tell you exactly how Scott Foster feels about him. He'll do it. Yeah, he's been crazy. He'll say it. All right, let's keep going. Sue lost by 23 with main guys. Yeah, Suns versus Heat last night. They had their guys and they lost by 23 last night. That's interesting. Well, that's the thing. It's interesting that these top Western teams like Golden State, Utah, and Phoenix are having some trouble all of a sudden right now this week in the league, and they're losing some games and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. Even Wagner and Cade and other rookies are hitting a wall. Yeah, different people will be hitting different walls at different times. Franz Wagner and Cade Cunningham. Yes. Kenrick, hoping we stop over-helping in the first half. Yeah, no over-helping, no over-rotating. Honestly, these guys on this team aren't such dead eyes that we really need to be close up on them, like maybe somebody like Chris Middleton. They're good shooters, but they're also slashers. They're the kind of guys that if you come at them and run at them too close, they're going to run straight towards the basket when you go by them. So these are the kind of things we need to watch out for with Graham and Ingram specifically, really a lot, because those guys are shooter slashers. They're going to be trying to do, like, Graham's better going to the basket than shooting. He's kind of like Giannis. He's better going to the basket, so maybe we need to dare him to shoot, and then the other guys we might want to stay close to. Because Ingram's not as good an outside shooter as he is closer to the basket, obviously, because he's just such a long, interesting player. And he is really the guy we need to really, really watch out for, because he is kind of their superstar right now. So let's see. Monte Cristo, good morning. Good to see you again this morning, man. Keep coming. Let's see. I'm a fun guy. Lexi, did you see Precious wave off Siakam during the fourth? That was in the last game. I'm not sure exactly what the play is, but even if he did wave him off, it's fine. Like this is the thing. Like maybe it's he sees something. Like he's obviously up at the top of the key when he did it. He waved him off, and maybe just see something. And somebody made a big deal out of earlier in the season. Really, at the very beginning of the season, was something that happened with Scotty and Fred, or something about, or like waving something. They said, "Oh, there's some animosity between them." No, that's not how it works. Sometimes it's just that like they're just giving direction. And there's nothing wrong with that. Precious can give direction to Pascal, and it's not like a subordinate giving it to like a somebody who's higher up on the team. Pascal and him, if he sees something that Pascal doesn't see, that's what he's communicating to him. So I don't think it is any kind of like a waving off or anything. Like that's actually just a good thing, because it's probably something they need to do. And if it isn't a good thing, I'm sure internally they deal with it and they say, look, you can't do that because you don't need him. He needs to be there or something like that, whatever. But I think that that's the kind of thing that the coaches and the players figure out internally. And it may look weird on the court, like, whoa, that guy's not been here that long. Why is he telling him what to do? But it's that kind of collective with us, is that we all help each other and instruct each other no matter what level we're at. Like Scotty I said this earlier this season and people laughed at me. I said, Scotty's can come in here and teach things to our older players also. And people are like, what? This is the rule of teaching and learning, is the teacher learns from the student learns from the teacher. So the student could come in and he can inspire OG or Pascal with something that he does with his moves, or something that with his talent. And all of a sudden they unlock something that they didn't realize that they could do also. Like, wait, Scotty, you do that? Wait, I could probably do that too. And then they try it and they can't. So that's the neat thing about new people meeting each other, because there's always something you can learn from every single person in this world. It may be something weird, it may be something inconsequential, but that is true of every person in this world. Every single person you come across on the street, walking down the street, can teach you something that you don't know. That's what is good to know. That is wisdom, knowing that you know nothing and that everyone can teach you. That is wisdom. All right, let's keep going. I'm a fun guy. Seeing really bad IQ with Precious because it was important time in the fourth. Okay, so it was a high pressure time, and you didn't agree with what he was asking Pascal to do in that moment. Okay, I'd have to see the specific play to really make a judgment call on it. But that's the whole thing. Like just in this whole little part I was just talking about. When the certain guys are communicating, and it may not seem like they should be the ones communicating, whether it's Scotty or Precious or a rookie or somebody who's lesser, like DJ Wilson just came to the team. If he's communicating on the ball or waving somebody off, there's something to it that is in the system. That's the thing. It may not be something that has to do with like him trying to take control or anything like that. I don't know. I'd have to see it, honestly. Andrew has a conspiracy theory. Adam Silver puts Scott Foster in Chris Paul's games on purpose because Chris Paul was the president of the NBA Players Association, which negotiated the CBA with the league. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's something that is a big factor in this Chris Paul stuff, is he was the president of this players union, and he did negotiate some stuff, and there was some acrimony between him and the actual league office in different ways. But this is also something that was even before that. And part of it is that Chris Paul went to the league office and said that there was a ref that was crooked and that he didn't want him reffing anymore. And he called out Scott Foster. So basically, Chris Paul went to the NBA and tried to get Scott Foster fired. And Scott Foster knows about that. So now they've never had a good relationship since. And this hasn't been like a recent thing. This is something that all happened like maybe 10 years ago, like a long time ago. So this is something, this ongoing underlying feud between Scott Foster and Chris Paul that stems from Chris Paul trying to get Scott Foster fired and him finding out that it was him. So obviously this is why they're so very interesting. I'm a fun guy. Lexi, there's a full fourth quarter video on YouTube. You can see the first play of the fourth. Okay, I can go look at it. I watched the highlights that the Raptors put up after the game just to get a refresher and stuff like that. But to me, at that point in the fourth quarter against Milwaukee, we had taken the lead because of Fred and his amazingness at the end of the third. And it was like, let them do different things. They may have some mistakes, but they did a good job of getting the lead built. But I just see that. I don't like sowing any seeds of dissension or any kind of conflict between the players. I don't think there's any conflict. I might go watch that and I might say, no, there's no problem there at all. There's nothing to see there. And I may be wrong, but it may be also that I'm trying to say, look, this is what we do as Raptor fans. We try and encourage unity and none of this stuff. Like I was saying with the reporters asking OG that question yesterday, the reporters need something to write about. So sometimes they'll ask really stupid ass questions that cause dissension or conflict, and the players have to be smart. They have to be like, I'm not answering that, or that's stupid. And there's two areas. One of them is like, not getting enough shots compared to other guys or trying to say something like that. And then the other thing is they try to get them to talk about who they hate playing against or people in the other teams. They never want to say other teams' names. You don't want to do that. These are kind of rules of thumb for NBA players in interviews. You don't call out or name other players on other teams as much as possible, because it's either positive or negative, because then, you got to give them kudos, or you're kind of like giving, you just don't do it. You don't name anybody specifically. You talk about the teams, but you don't talk about the individual players. And then with your own team, when some reporter comes to you and they're saying like, well, how do you feel like you're getting enough shots right now, OG? You just say, yeah, we're winning and I'm happy, like OG did. That's what he said. So it's very interesting. Yeah, some of the reporters' questions are so embarrassing. They really are, G. It's like, guys, come on, think of something better. I'm almost rather them ask questions about their daily lives than about basketball at this point. Like, we understand what's happening on the court to a certain degree, but like, ask them about music. Ask them about what they're listening to this week. I'd love to just hear what OG's was popping into his headphones for this week. And so I can go listen to some of it too, because I want to hear what these guys are into, cutting edge, stuff like that. So anyway, let's see. It's been about half an hour. It's just a preview, guys. The Pelicans are here. We got to see the test of Jonas Valanciunas. He's a big dude. We got to help. We got to collapse on him when he's trying to do something down low. But the thing is, he can go outside and hit threes and do different things. And he's already threatened to do that to us today. And then really watch these slasher scores. Like, Brandon Ingram is such a good talent. He's got such good length, but we have guys who can kind of keep up with him and match up with him with that length and speed. So it'll be a real good test. I'd like to see us frustrate him. He should be one of the guys that gets really frustrated today. And then, other guys are real important on that team, like Graham and Alexander Walker. I'm probably overlooking somebody else on this roster that could be deadly to us. I don't know much about Herbert Jones. Garrett Temple has been a good player in the past. Jackson Hayes is a nice young player coming up. And then Hernan Gomez, he's annoying. He's always been annoying at times. But the rest of them, like, this isn't a great talented team. This isn't really a super talented team like some of the Western teams we've seen recently, like Utah and Golden State. So they're not very talented. We should out-talent them easily with our regular roster against their regular roster. Let's see. Yeah, G's saying I would rather they ask about specific plays or something actually intelligent. Yeah, or something. I don't know. I've often wondered what I would do if I had that job. Like, if I had the job of getting questions from them, I'd probably write some pretty interesting questions, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I'd get in there and get some really deep stuff and try and get them to really give me something interesting. I know it's not easy, but I do have a background in this. I've been to many press conferences in university at Florida State. I used to go to FSU football games and sit in the press conference and interview Bobby Bowden. So, there is a little bit of experience for me in doing this. So let's see. OG loves UK rap like me. Little Sims is amazing. Little Sims was like one of my biggest artists of the year last year. She is amazing. She is a big part of that forefront of the UK rap. And some of the videos that Lil Sims did last year were so good. Point and Kill, I Love You, I Hate You, just amazing good stuff from Lil Sims. Great artist. That's who I like out of there. But there has been a lot of ladies out of the UK that are just killing it in the hip hop scene right now. And there's guys too. But I'm really impressed with the women. The women out of the UK are fantastic. I keep up with this a lot. Like, I watch all the new videos. We have a couple new videos this week. Obviously, The Weeknd just dropped this huge new album 2 days ago, Dawn FM, and he has a new video out called Sacrifice. And then KRS-One returned this week. There's a new KRS-One video, and he kills it. He comes in and he eviscerates all the new rappers. And all the way rap is right now, with all these fake gangsters and like the money and the butts and all that dumb stuff. It's in every single one of their things and stuff like that. He comes in and he kills them. He kills them with his bars. He basically just said it's amazing. Go check it out. It's KRS-One, New Beginning. And oh man, it's a nasty spit. Like he kills them. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Monte Cristo. I watched Fred shrug one off about if his leg was sore after the game. I'm fine. Yeah, he was limping a little bit after the game, and people were trying to say, "Oh, is Fred okay for the game today?" He's fine. These are the regular dings and bangs that these guys take after every game. And obviously, after that performance he did in that game against Utah, he's going to be a little bit limpy. He's going to be a little bit tired because he gave it all. He was just like Chris, laying across the bench. That picture's getting so much mileage now. I love it. That's the same thing. Fred did the same kind of effort. Of course, he's going to lay on the bench like he just ate a huge turkey dinner like Chris did and unbutton that and just and then he put his head up like this and he smiled a little bit and you knew he was like so happy. Yeah, man. It's so funny, man. Okay, let's see. OG, I believe, was actually born in UK. Not sure. Yeah, he was. He's from the UK. So yeah, there's definitely a tie there. Yeah, the Boucher memes are golden right now. They're golden, and he loves them. He's getting some attention around the league for this. Like this, there was something so pure about him collapsing onto the bench after playing his heart out, like something that was so relatable and just so pure and real to us when we saw that. And honestly, as Raptor fans, we got to just love it because it's just like we want all our players to hit the bench like that they know that they gave it everything. With tragic gone, maybe we re-sign Boucher. I'd love to re-sign Boucher. He's honestly, everybody who thinks he's expendable, we can dispose of him. That's not smart because we've invested so much into his project and he really knows our system now. And now he's become this Dennis Rodman off the bench kind of energy rebounding role player. He's really valuable right now. Everybody on the league wishes they had a Chris Boucher coming off the bench. That's just such a threat with with blocking shots, can possibly hit a three-pointer, and is just so active down low. They want players like him, and he really fits our position list really well. Yeah, he's primed to take off. Like, I don't know honestly, I don't even care if he just does what he's been doing right now. Success on this team for different players is different. Like, we want Fred and Pascal, sure, to do some of the things they've been doing lately, but Chris Boucher could be a bench role player and just play really solid, not have any mistakes, get rebounds and block shots, and I'd be perfectly happy with him. He doesn't need to score a whole lot of points, but because our bench scoring is so anemic, we do need him to score a lot of points because we're just not getting any production off the bench, and that sucks. But it is what it is. Gee, those Boucher pictures sums up the last 2 seasons for the Raptors. The last with him smiling is them now. Yeah. Honestly, it's just so gratifying to see him like smiling and knowing that he really is like put it all out there and he's satisfied with what he did. Sue, wish we would see more of that full on effort that Boucher gave all through the NBA. Love it. Yeah, if like a whole NBA played all out like him, it'd be a crazy league because there are guys that coast. There are guys that are kind of like they pick their times when they want to go all out and when they don't, stuff like that. Raymond Jacob, Alexi, do you not think Chris should spend more time working out or working on more stamina? He spends a lot of time playing games. That's deceiving, actually, Raymond. He does work out a lot, and he does actually work on his stamina a lot too. Like he has a weird body, and as a skinny guy myself who didn't start to gain any weight until into my 40s, I can totally understand this how hard it is to put meat on your bones when you have this kind of metabolism and you work really hard. So he's really, really skinny. He's put more weight into his arms and he has more strength. But listen, I know he's on Twitch a lot. And yesterday he was playing Fred on Twitch on Call of Duty. They were playing each other. It was just crazy. That was something they put ads up and they said, come watch me play Fred at 3:45 on Call of Duty. I'm going to smoke him. And that's hilarious in itself. But listen, this is the thing. Chris has 2 things he does right now. Basketball and Twitch, and that's it. He's not going out anywhere. He's not seeing other people. He's not hanging out with anyone. And that is what his outlet, his personal life is Twitch. And just because it's so public and we see him going there all the time, that doesn't mean that he's sacrificing the important stuff with basketball to go do that. Trust me, he's a grinder. He's had that mentality for a long time. He's always been a grinder. And a grinder to me is one of these players on our team that goes in the morning, works out, goes in the afternoon, works out with the team, and then goes in later at night. He goes 3 times a day to go practice. So trust me, Chris is practicing every day, like doing something with his game 3 times a day. He does it in the morning, he does it afternoon, he does it at night, depending on if there's a game or not. So he's working. He's put in the work. If you ask anybody around the team, he is one of those gym rats. He's a grinder, and he is always in there. He's at OVO a lot more than you think. So it's hard to know exactly, because really he has no social life. His social life is Twitch, and that's why we see him on there so often. And really, he's only on there for maybe a couple hours a day, and he just comes on for a little bit and goes back off, and that's it. So he's not lazy, and it's not that he's not working, because he is working. This man is really working hard. Trust me, he really is. Let's see. Jan, good morning, man. We do this every morning around 9 a.m. Eastern time, just daily Raptors talk. Come on the live stream, and I'll talk whatever you write on here. We'll talk about it as long as it pertains to this, and it isn't something crazy. Because if it's something crazy, I'll say it maybe, but we'll see what the consequences are. But anyway, thanks for being here, Jan. You think DJ Wilson will get some minutes tonight? I hope so. The Pelicans are not as good a team by the record, so hopefully we can get some good lead on them, blow them out, and then give our bench guys some extended time in the second half today. That's really what we wanted against Utah. Didn't work out. So this time, hopefully, yes, because DJ is kind of on a time bomb. Like, time is ticking, because he only gets 10 days from last Friday. So that means he'll get all this week, and then he'll get next weekend. But then we have to decide what we're going to do when that second 10-day runs out. And I want to make sure he gets a fair shake to really get out there and get some good, solid minutes to show what he can do to Nick Nurse. And hopefully that happens. Andrew has a good point here. The other thing about Chris Boucher that's interesting is he's the only player on our team who hasn't gone into COVID protocols in this last round. So there is a chance that he's going to have to go into protocols still within the next couple of weeks, like him being the only one who didn't have to go in this last round. And part of the reason why he hasn't gotten COVID this time is because of what I was just talking about. He's not doing anything. He's just going home, playing Twitch, and staying in the gym. He's not going near anyone. So he must be doing a good job, because he was the only one who didn't get COVID. So it's very interesting. Too bad Cleveland keeps winning. Yeah, Cleveland. I thought they were going to start taking dip a little bit because of some of the injuries they've had recently. Ricky Rubio, different guys are not there right now. Sexton is out for the season right now, and but they're still rolling, so they're figuring out a way to still win. I know Kevin Love has been playing really well again all of a sudden, which is annoying. I hate to think that game that we had against them recently just jump-started Kevin Love's career, and now all of a sudden he's back to being like a all-star kind of level player. I don't want that. No. Not with those two big guys that are playing with him now, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So, yeah, it's too bad. Let's hope that Cleveland can start getting some L's hung on them so we can get a little bit closer to them, because that is who we're going for now. They're sitting in the 5th spot, and we want to get into that spot. We want to get them next. So let's see. Raymond, he doesn't go out at all because he doesn't want protocols, so he just practices and goes home. Yeah, he's just like me. I've been super overly cautious in this pandemic, partly because of the people that I want to be in my bubble are my 99-year-old grandmother and my girlfriend, who, she has special needs. So we have issues within house that I don't want to get myself exposed. So I've been super quarantined, like on purpose, staying home just so I can see the people that I really love and be close to them without any kind of second guessing whether I'm doing something that may hurt them. So really, I'm in a bubble with a 99-year-old woman. I'm not going to be around a whole bunch of people. And I've been just like Chris. So I totally get his strategy of doing this since the beginning of the pandemic, because I've done the same thing. And I've had a lot of success. I haven't felt sick in 2 years. And I take a lot of echinacea, and I just feel really good. Vitamin C, and make sure I get exercise still, even though I'm in the house and stuff like that. Chris is really dedicated to this. In some ways, that shows his commitment, that he doesn't want to get COVID. He's staying home, and he's trying to stay as healthy as possible for his team. So let's keep going. I'm a fun guy. I'm the opposite. I'm 6 foot, 245 pounds. Listen, man, we need power forwards on this team too. I was a weird player when I played basketball. I was really a swing, but I was tall. So I was kind of like a future kind of guy because I could shoot and I could slash. Or I was a shooter slasher, but I had the height like a center in a lot of the games that I played because I'm 6'4", and I would play out there and I'd be one of the tallest guys. So I ended up having to do center kind of stuff, but I really like to play like slasher kind of stuff, like shooter slasher. That was my style of play. When I play basketball a lot, like I still play, I'll go and play a pickup game down the court sometimes, but obviously not so much during the pandemic. Stevie Roots and I would go down to Ontario Place where they had that drive through and they were showing the Raptors playoff games on the big screen. Everybody's sitting in the cars. They have a bunch of basketball courts set up out there, and we'll ride our bikes down by the coast and beside Budweiser stage and just put up shots. And I've been teaching Steve how to shoot. Like I coach, I can teach people how to play basketball, but he's so bad. Like he has no footwork, and he's always been a hockey kind of guy. He's a hockey dude. He never played basketball when he was a kid. He's a true Canadian, played a lot of hockey and stuff like that. So he's got a lot of hockey tendencies. I don't think I can break him of them. So it's like we're both getting close to 50. So I don't know how many new tricks he's going to be learning. But it's fun. He's like my project to teach. So it's a lot of fun. Let's see. Kenrick's saying if we get a fast start, we can see more of the bench. Yeah. We need to make sure we don't take them lightly like we did Utah in the last game and let them get some sort of crazy start. We can't be flat. We need to come out and beat them down just like we did Milwaukee in the game before that. Come out and get like a double-digit lead in the first quarter. And if we lose it at some point in the second half, in the second quarter, that's fine. But we need to just make sure at the end that we're still on top somewhere in there. So, let's see. Christo, I'm a little bugger. Oh, well, we need point guards. We need somebody to be quick on the court and do some stuff too. We'll get a team together. We'll get like a men's team and we'll go play just other entities like construction companies and stuff like that in Men's City League in Toronto. Like, the Y League. We'll go down there. We'll be the cult of the Raptor Freak. We'll have our Raptor Freak jerseys and we'll take on all comers. Even if we look really bad, we'll just that's our motto. We'll play anybody. That'll be our thing. All right. It's so silly, but it could be fun. I mean, seriously, people in Toronto want to play basketball when things are better. I'll go play basketball with y'all. I'm all about it. I'm not just this guy. I got accused of this on one of my videos on Facebook. I posted one of these on Facebook, and this guy came on there and said, I hate these clowns who keep coming on here and talking about basketball, and they never played or never did nothing in their life that had to do with basketball. That's not me, motherfucker, because I did. I played basketball. I didn't play for college or anything like that, but I played, and I played in men's league, and I coached men's league, and I GM men's league. I had to be in charge of my team and run it and get all the jerseys and the sponsors and get players. I recruited players and I coached them, and I had a whole system, and we played 4 or 5 seasons in the 90s. We played a bunch of games. It was a really fun time. But just anyway, enough about me. Let's keep it on the questions and talking about what's going on here. Boucher's ball handling would get better though if he put on muscle mass. I think it's just tough for him in general, just because of his body. He's so long. This is part of the reason why these centers shouldn't be dribbling the ball up the court, because there's so much air between the ground and where they dribble from. And you're right. He's skinny. His arms are skinny. He shouldn't be a ball handler for the most part, but he can. He has the skills to actually put the ball on the floor and kind of dribble without turning it over. So it is what it is. The muscle mass thing, he's worked really hard. And honestly, in the last 2 years, his arms look way better than they did in the first couple of years that he played for the Raptors. You got to remember how skinny he was when he showed up for Toronto 4 years ago. He was so skinny, so skinny. And he actually does kind of have some muscle definition on his arms at this point. So he's trying. It's tough, man. We all have body types, and sometimes we can't fight them. And his body type is a certain body type. He's what is it? It's not ectomorph, endomorph, all those kind of stuff. And it is what it is. Raymond says, I do like Chris ever since G League. However, he still needs to box out more and set stronger screens. Yeah, I could get behind this. I can agree with you, Raymond. The boxing out stuff has gotten better, though. But honestly, once again, it's the kind of thing where he doesn't have enough weight to really be like this holding space kind of guy. He has to do it in a kind of weird way where he's kind of like using his length and his arms to hold a lot of area, but he can get pushed still. So in some ways, it's kind of like timing and footwork. He needs to figure it out because he may not be able to hold guys physically, which is too bad. But That's part of it. That's why I never liked him playing center. That's why I always thought, man, this guy actually should be a small forward. Like the way he plays and the way he is, he should be a small forward. Let's see. Monte Cristo. He needs to gain some weight, though, man. Boucher's built like a paperclip. He can't. He can't. You don't think he's tried? He's almost 30 years old, and that's just who he is with his waist and his size. That's just his body. This is the way God intended to make him. So it's not like, other than going and doing what a WWF wrestler would have done in the 80s, he's not going to beef up. He's not going to get all this muscle on him unless he does steroids, like straight up does steroids and tries to look like Zion after that. But it's not even dainty, because I wouldn't call him dainty. No, he's tough. Like, he gets hit so much. He takes so much abuse, and he doesn't whine or cry about it. That's a tough young man. He's not dainty. I wouldn't call him that. And plus, he would get hurt a lot more if he was dainty. He doesn't get that hurt that often. He was one of the guys who was healthy pretty consistently throughout the whole entire COVID year in Tampa last year. Like, and that says a lot, because he had to take a brunt of a lot of the physicality for us last year. Him, Pascal, and OG were taking a lot. Oh yeah, Andrew, I still think Cleveland is a pretender. I do too. I think that they are a pretender, and I think that they will be exposed before the end of this year. It's just that they're getting really good luck in different ways and some things. Apparently he can. His metabolism's crazy from what I read. Yeah, it's just crazy. He could probably eat like 3 times what we eat, and he still look like how he looks. Because in some ways, some people are just fast burning on the calories. Like, he just has a fast burning motor. Like, you could put all of it in there, and he's just like exerts it. And maybe that's why he looks so tired. He's like, oh man, I just burned like 3 meals that I just ate earlier today, and I still look super skinny, and I'm completely tired. I don't know. Let's see. Monte Cristo says he will forever be a role player. He's too little to start. There was a time last year where there was a lot of argument whether he should start. Raptor fans were pushing to have him start. They wanted him to be a starter, and they needed him to be a starter so bad. And I was never into that. I agree with this to a degree, what you're saying, Monte Cristo. But I don't think it's because he's too little. I think it's because we have so much skill right now. And he could actually start. If he started like power forward or small forward and not center, I'm okay with it. Like, and he's had to do that kind of this year already. He started a couple games. Let's see. Duke rocks. Cleveland playing Golden State. Return of Clay sounds like a loss. Interesting. Yeah, it's weird. Utah went and lost their next game after they played us against Indiana. And they actually had all their guys show up, like Royce and Mike Conley, all these dudes who didn't play us here. They played in the game against Indiana the next night. And Bogdan was there. All these guys were there, and they lost. That's the thing. You guys mess around and you sit good players for no reason. You mess up your chemistry, and sometimes you don't get it back exactly. And you allowed Domantas Sabonis get like 45 points, and you lose to him. So this is a similar thing with Golden State. They mess around and they sit Steph, they sit Draymond. They lose this last game that they just played to the Pelicans. And now, they could lose real easy to Cleveland tonight. So it'll be interesting. I'm a fun guy. I can't find anywhere to play ball. Where are you? You're over in are you the one who's in Mississauga near the building where they play? I don't know, man. It's really nice down by Ontario Place. There's so many courts down there, and it's wide open. There's hardly anybody down there. Some of the courts are under trees and next to the water, which could be bad if the ball rolls in the water, but it's really nice facility. They got volleyball courts. They got all kinds of cool outdoor activities to do down there. So when the weather gets warmer and it's nicer here in the spring, that's a great place to go down there. If you can come downtown, go to Ontario Place. There's so much different things around there to do just to get physical activity. Like I think there's at least like 20 ball courts down there right now. Like, they're spread out all over the whole place. You'll walk around the corner and all of a sudden you'll see a basketball hoop and you're like, oh my gosh, I could just shoot around here. It's really interesting. It's really cool. But yeah, that's a good place to go down there. And I like that court that's down near the airport. There are a lot of people like to go to that court, the one outdoor next to the rec center, next to Billy Bishop's entrance, like right down there on Queens Quay near Bathurst. That's a good court to go to too. And then there's a couple that are right around me here in Leslieville that I'll go to that are kind of near Queen Street. There's a couple down there. I'll go and play pickup down there, but it's tough. Sue, okay, I will be the water girl then later. Maybe coach your team. Sue, can you play basketball? Because I know you played roller derby. You can play. Forget about it. You can be out there with us. We'll figure out what your role is on the team, role player. But no, don't do that. We want you to be a player on the team. You don't have to be the coach unless you want to be the coach. We can make you the coach. Whatever role you want. It's up to you. I don't know if you may have injuries that prevent you from getting on a basketball court where you don't want to take the risk. But I understand. But I'd like to see you play. Let's just get out there and go. All right, let's see. I'm a fun guy. They even shut down courts in LA Fitness for years. Yeah. I mean, that's just how it is. The indoor courts, they're not going to be fun to play in like right now. Why? I don't want to go to the YMCA and try and shoot hoops downtown in Toronto. Not right now. No. Outdoor is the way to go. And right now it's way too cold. Like this week in Toronto has been very cold. It's been like -5 most of this week, and it's not been fun. Let's see. Monte Cristo. See, you can be the tracksuit lady. So you can be the tracksuit. That's awesome. We should all have tracksuits though. Let's see. Marlon Toby saying Chet Holmgren and Chris, same type of body. Yeah. It's just a skinny dude body. It's just, I totally had it myself. Like I was like 160 in my 30s, and I'm 6'4". That's crazy. 160 in my 30s. And I'm like, I finally got over 200 in my 40s. So I've always struggled with this myself. So I can understand Chris's plight. I wanted more weight. I didn't want to be this reed thin, skinny guy. And I could eat like a horse. I ate so much food and I still wouldn't put any weight on. I know I'm whining and crying. Everybody hates my problems right now. But, that's just the reality of Chris Boucher right now. I can totally get what's going on with him because it was me. Okay. Yeah, the tracksuits, they got to be fly. They got to be like a good, nice, violent purple that's just like right in your face, and then like have like the call to the, something. We'll figure it out. I mean, gosh, I'm going to have to get a whole brand of merchandising. Well, it's the hoodies and now the tracksuits. Oh my gosh, this will be crazy. That's going to be, I'm going to figure that out. Alistair, I just realized we basically have one point guard since Fred VanVleet is the only player getting minutes. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think Malachi's in big trouble, guys. I think he's in big trouble. He may not get many more chances the rest of the season the way that we're playing right now. And he really needs to capitalize on when he gets them, because if he doesn't show something extraordinary or something by the end of the season, he's not going to be on this team after this rookie contract. He's going to be done with us. He may get one more year next year, his third year, which is the rookie contract, and then we won't see him anymore. You got to get your act together, Malachi, because listen, the future is being seen. We got tall guys that we want to run at point, and Fred isn't going to have you as his predecessor, his successor coming after like Kyle to him. It's not going to happen because it's looking like Scotty's going to be his successor. That's the way it looks like right now. So look out, Malachi, or even Delano. Delano could end up being our main point guard in like 5 or like when Fred's done. I'm not even going to speculate when Fred's done. We let Fred go as long as possible. But the future could be Delano or Scotty at point guard for us starting. Yeah. And that'll be really interesting. Callie, good morning. Good to see you again. Excited for another game. Hoping they come out stronger first quarter and don't let 3 points kill us again. Yeah. The Pelicans aren't one of the best 3-point shooting teams, but they do still have it, and they're still pretty dangerous. But, that's really just making sure we get to them and aggravate their shots. And I think we can do that really well. We were lazy in doing it in the game against Utah in the last game, and we also over-rotated, like some have pointed out on the stream. For sure, we've been over-rotating and running past them, and teams have figured out how to beat that with getting the side shot or getting the second shot just with the fake or something like that. So I hope you're exactly right, Callie, that we get a good start. We are the ones with a double-digit lead somewhere mid first quarter, and that we're the ones that are clicking and hitting all our shots, because we were completely flat against Utah in the last game. We couldn't buy a bucket. We looked so bad. And look, we still came back and won that game. So that says something about it. But it's much nicer and less stressful when we start the game on the nice, even, like, okay, we ease into it and things are good. We're making shots. We have the lead, stuff like that. Because we need to do that. full 48 minutes, really good defense all the way through. None of this like half-ass defense in the first half where the other team gets 60 points, something like that. We don't want that today. We want to see competent, good defense. Yes. Monte Cristo, it's true, Alistair, like we are nearly as weak there as center. Flynn really doesn't see a lot of action. I don't even know if it's a weakness anymore. I wouldn't characterize what's happening with us at the point guard or the center as a weakness anymore. I think that we actually have a really weird strength in a way because we have so many different guys that could possibly fill in those two positions, and maybe not 100% them by themselves, but it's like Pascal and Scotty, point guards, backup point guards. They're in a tandem. And then, your centers, you get Kem and Precious down low. That's a tandem. And these are actually really good depth in some ways because, we got those two guys and you got Chris and Scotty's helping, Pascal's there still too with some length and OG too. So it's deceiving. It's like this team, what Nick Nurse and Masai Ujiri is constructing this team, they're kind of trying to break the mold of what a basketball team should be. Like the 1 through 5 is something that throw out the window and just have all around good players all around. And sure, there's duties you got to do, like bring the ball up the court, be a distributor, be a shooter, rebounder, all this kind of stuff. But different guys can do all of it. All of it. It's the 5-tool thing I was talking about. They're all 5-tool guys. Like in baseball, they can do it all. They can hit for power, hit for speed. They got speed on the bases, all those different things. Fielding, they can do it all. Let's see. Sue's saying, yes, I played basketball. I played center back in the day. I would bring my roller derby moves to the court. See, roller derby be good. This is the thing. Sue would be like our Charles Oakley, I'll bet. She'd be out there enforcing. Oh, yeah. You come in the paint and Sue's down low. She's going to put you on the ground. I love that. I love that. Happy birthday, Sue. Oh, my gosh. I love that. Monte Cristo, just don't jam on me, Sue. Yes. Yes, it's awesome. Andrew, if we won 3 or 4 of these close games, we'd be number 2 seed right now. Okay, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah, the Cleveland game, the Detroit game. Oh, yeah, that Oklahoma City game. Oh, yeah. I know, man. Those 3 games in particular, maybe a Boston game in there we shouldn't have probably lost because of some bullshit. Yeah. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But this is how it is. And we're going to just have to go with the present and where we're doing and just make the best of it from here. But I totally agree with you. We could have been a lot higher and different things that break different ways, but we're getting better breaks now. There's good stuff happening for us for sure. Tom Duke, Malachi is finished with the Raptors. I bet you were right. I hope not. Honestly, I really want to give him a shot. And there is some usage, and he is valuable to us in a way because honestly, after Fred, we don't really have these guys who can chase these other small point guards in the league after him. Like if Fred fouls out, we may need Malachi or Justin. Like I see those 2 guys as kind of doing that now. Justin and Malachi can both kind of chase down quick point guards and quick guards and kind of try and contain them because that may be an issue with our big lineup. At some point, we may run into a point guard that's super uber talented, like an Isaiah Thomas. Not the one now. I'm talking about Detroit Pistons, Zeke, Isaiah Thomas. That kind of talent, like little small guy who can get around guys and score and shoot and do stuff like that, and we have a hard time chasing them, then we might need Malachi or something like that for that. So he is kind of good insurance just in case for chasing around small little point guards. And that may be why we keep him on the team for sure. It's just that we need that depth for that specific purpose. But he may never get to play. He may end up being like the 12th man on this team and is really, really spot duty. But the thing is, he's got to maximize when he does actually get to play. No more of this 2 for 12 kind of shooting. He's got to make his shots. He's got to look good out there. Because if he doesn't look good for the rest of the season, he's going to be in trouble. He's going to be in trouble. When Fred was off, Nurse had Barnes and Pascal running point. Yeah, it's perfect. It's beautiful. He struck gold. In the last couple of weeks, he struck gold. Doing that has been so successful, so good, because part of the problem for the first part of the season was when we'd have Fred out there, we were plus. We were doing great. We beat teams. But when we bring Fred out, there was a little bit of disarray, a little bit of confusion, and not as sharp on offense, not run as well, and teams were beating us then. Well, now this change with the rotation, how Scotty plays the first 4 minutes, Kem comes in, and then when Scotty comes back in for the second time or second stint, he's a point guard then. And Fred usually comes out. And then it's Fred and it's Pascal and Scotty that are running the point, and this is brilliant because both of those guys don't have to do it all the time. They can switch off, so the other person can be the off-ball person to get the ball, and the other person can be the distributor, and it switches. And in some ways, it keeps the other team guessing because they don't know which one of our guys is bringing up the ball up the court now anymore. They really don't. And it could be OG from time to time too. So this is a brilliant, great stroke of luck. He hit gold with this, and he needs to do this for the rest of the season. Like, this is part of the reason why I'm totally okay with Scotty not going to the bench. Let him start every single game this season, and he could be our center, and then we can make these switches and stuff like that, and it'll really work well. But it's a weird situation with our backup point guard stuff that's going on, but I love it. It's the future. It's honestly the future. We're seeing the future with that. Let's see. Monte Cristo, we took Flynn over Desmond Bane. I don't like doing what it could have, should have. We did what we did. We did what we, it's the kind of thing where it's like we hit home runs all the time, like Scotty Barnes, like Jonas Valanciunas, like DeMar DeRozan, like Pascal Siakam. Masai Ujiri hits home runs all the time with picks and different people that the Raptors have picked up. And, Malachi, it's not fair to him totally to compare him to Bane. Bane's a weird player, man. In some ways I like him, but in some ways he's kind of crazy. But, I don't know, yeah, sure. It's real easy to say I'd rather have Bane right now than Flynn. But, at that time, it didn't really, it wouldn't necessarily look like that. Because Flynn, when he looked like in college and some of the things he was doing were pretty impressive. Like he looked like Fred VanVleet at Wichita State kind of stuff. So it's tough. I don't like doing what it could have, should have. And obviously, I'm really happy with who we picked overall for the most part over the years, especially the one we got last year. Last year's draft class is going to be really good for us because we're going to be able to look at, we got Scotty, Delano, and Justin last year. It's going to be very similar to the year we got Fred, Pascal, and Jakob Poeltl. Like three really, really, really good players that are going to do something in the future. And I really believe that about all three of our rookies that I just named. So let's see. Sue, haha, Monty, can't promise I wouldn't take you out. That'd be funny. That'd be interesting. It'd be really interesting to get it together and play some basketball. Monte Cristo saying, biggest Masai blunder, drafting Flynn over Bane. Who's with me? No, I don't know what his blunder is. Listen, this space here is very positive, Monty. We only talk about positive things. We talk about what Masai did good. I don't even know what Masai's done that's been wrong. I don't think, even if he's made mistakes, they've been far and few between, and they've been things that have been inconsequential to how we are right now with the future. So it's like woulda, coulda, shoulda stuff doesn't have a place here in the cult of the Raptor Freak. Whether it's who we should have drafted or who we should trade for or this should have happened or this. It's just what happened. We just go by what happened and what's on the ground with us right now. And, it's the kind of thing where I look at our team as a family. Like Malachi Flynn may be struggling and he may not be exactly who we want him to be, but he's still a part of our family. And I want him to succeed. I want him to do well. So this is a super positive space. We're not talking about negative stuff. We're not talking about this or that kind of stuff because it's like Bane's good. Yeah, I like Bane. But this is how it is. We could, trade for him or something like that. I don't even like speculating trade talk because it's just, until somebody's here on the ground running with us, then we can talk about him. Like DJ Wilson is here. We can talk about him. But, yeah, it's just a little bit of kind of how we run things here as far as like staying on task with the team, not against it, because it's a big thing. That's a big thing. I saw so much negativity and tearing down the Raptors in so many other places on social media and different places that I wanted to build this channel because I was sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the negativity. This is a positive space. We build up the team. We talk about the good things about the team, and we don't tear them down. We don't bring them down because there's so many other people being critics and doing this kind of stuff somewhere else. But that's not us. That's not our MO. That's not this space. So let's see. All these Capricorns. All you guys are Capricorns. Everybody had their birthday recently. Jack Armstrong, everybody. Okay, let's see. Where are we? I want to see this. Okay. I'm a fun guy. Kinda, because Flynn did show last year with minutes he can be a floor general. Yeah, Flynn's shown capabilities at different times. I think it's just a sophomore slump, guys. This happens very often in a second year for a player. They go through what the sophomore slump. So it's kind of like, let's see if he can get out of it. That'll show his character or not. Let's see if he can overcome this and look like a really badass player that we all want him to still be on the team. So that's what he's got to do right now. Flynn did lose his confidence a little bit. That's why I really like when he played him one of the last games with Svi and just let them play for 5 minutes. They both got a shot in, and then he yanked him and didn't play him again. Sometimes you got to do that. Give them a little small leash, let them play for just a little bit, have some success, and then get them out of there so that they can't screw it up. So we'll see. Alistair saying Cleveland is playing Golden State, so after our win tonight, we should be in 6. Okay, so we're rooting for the Warriors to beat Cleveland today so that we can move up ourselves in the standings. I like that. Fred was pretty solid last season. Not sure what happened. Fred, we're talking about Fred VanVleet? Because Fred's been great. I don't know. Oh, maybe you mean Malachi when you said that. Yeah, he's been solid. I think it's just been that, like, all of a sudden the team talent just shot way up. Like last year, we really had to depend on Malachi for a lot of minutes just because different guys were gone, and our talent was a lot different last year. Stanley Johnson, DeAndre Bembry, Aaron Baines, that kind of stuff shifted to being Scotty Barnes, Precious Achua. So it's like the minutes are a lot different and harder for him to get this year. So that may be tough for him in some ways. I don't know. Let's keep going. I'm a fun guy. Biggest Masai blunder was by far Stanley Johnson. Oh, man, I don't know about that. Stanley's such a weird case. I watched this YouTube channel called Stunted Growth, and they do YouTube videos on NBA players that didn't make their potential. And he basically talks about where they went wrong, whether it's they got drafted by this team or they were too cocky, they were immature, stuff like that. He just did one on Antonio Brown and what just happened in the NFL and what his stunted growth and why he's not probably going to be playing in the NFL anymore soon. But the one he did on Stanley Johnson very recently too, like in the last 2 weeks, talks about how he was such an athlete. And when Detroit drafted him, they really didn't know how to develop him. They didn't do him they did him a disservice, honestly, in some ways, that they didn't help him develop in the right way in his very early years. And it's kind of messed him up as an NBA player. But when we had him here for that little bit of time, we were trying to break him of that. We were trying to help him. And that was one of the things he said in the interview, that he loved being in Toronto because he finally felt like people were helping him develop his game and get better in the ways that he needed to be a better NBA player. And now he's bouncing back and forth, and now he's on the Lakers. Like, I think the Lakers fan nation really, really wants him to be signed regularly to this team because he's one thing that this Laker team is lacking is energy, effort, and all-out hustle. And they love him because they don't getting it from their old age guys on the team already. So they need Stanley to come out there and chase down all the loose balls for him. So I don't like denigrating Stanley Johnson. He's a very strange talent for this league, and he's misunderstood. He should have been way better than he is, and he kind of got messed up by Detroit, honestly. That's what happened. Detroit drafted him, and they didn't have any kind of system. This is what I'm talking about. Scotty needs to be thankful he's with us because he's getting the best coaching, the best kind of development he could get. Because if he goes to a team like Detroit, he may not get that. There's a lot less stuff there to help him. And that's what happened to Stanley. He didn't get the help he needed in his early seasons with Detroit, and it messed him up in his NBA career in some ways. So it's tough. Yeah, Earl Watson, fantastic coach. So glad he's here. Yes, give Sue all the happy birthday kudos, please. And Monte Cristo is a Capricorn, just had his birthday recently. That's awesome. Happy birthday to all y'all January birthdays. I love January people. For some reason, I always have. I'm a Virgo, but I know Virgos and Capricorns can get along pretty good. So Duke rocks. Fred VanVleet had Lowry and Flynn. Flynn has Fred VanVleet. Don't read too much into his minutes. Flynn is on rookie contract till 2024. If Fred VanVleet gets injured, I'd rather have Flynn or Banton present. Yeah, this is exactly right. We got to look at the perspective of where Fred was in his first 2 years in the NBA and how he had to climb from being G League, being the third point guard we had. Like, he was our third point guard when he was first here on the Raptors. He had to battle through being the third point guard to the second point guard to becoming the starter and being the all-star that he is now. So Malachi's kind of, got to go through those same kinds of rites of passage, whether it's being regularly on the 905 for a bit, whether it's like being this third point guard that's coming off the bench at the very end. And he's got to fight through and prove that he can be the backup point guard. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that because, like, some of the things that these guys do, like Delano himself can do a lot more than Malachi can in some ways. But in some ways, Malachi can do things that Delano can't either. So it's actually good to have both those guys as backups because they give you different kinds of looks for what you need. Like I said, Malachi's really good for chasing down a smaller guy, where Delano may be good at it, but he may not be, because the little guy may be quicker than that. Because Muggsy Bogues, the shortest player to ever play in the NBA, 5'3", was really fast, and very few people could keep up with him and try and stop him. Like Magic couldn't keep up with him. There's a lot of players who could not keep up with him. And there's going to be a little guy in the league that's like that. And that's when you need somebody like Malachi. So let's see. Yeah, I like your point, Duke. Honestly, what you're saying about Flynn in the perspective of how the hierarchy of point guard, whether you're starting second or third string point guard, it's a development thing. And like I said, so much today is instant gratification, that everybody just wants it to happen right away, right now. But these things take time, and Malachi's going to take some time. So yeah, happy birthdays all around to everybody, all the Capricorns. Let's see. Alistair saying the water is getting steeper for the bench since our team's been healthy, like it was in preseason when guys were fighting to show Nick Nurse they deserve to go in the game. This is so good. Like when we have everybody back, the competitiveness for minutes and to get out there is at a high level. And if you're not giving us something good, like Justin's been the last couple games. I mean, Justin had like 4 minutes in the game in the last game, and he got 6 rebounds. That to me is impressive, because he got more rebounds per minute, like more than 1 rebound per minute. That's super huge. So that's production. That's production right there. And that's not necessarily him scoring. It's just him getting rebounds like crazy. So if you're going to get out there, you got to do something. You can't just go out there and just kind of hang out and do stuff. You got to either pass the ball, rebound, get steals, block shots, and if you can, score. If you get an open shot, you better hit it, because that's what we're looking at. Svi, Malachi, if you get open shots, you better hit those shots, because you're under a microscope right now. And them not hitting your open shots is a big part of what we're not happy about. Is that if you guys would hit your shots, you'd look a lot better to us, and we'd be happier about you guys. And that's the thing. And they're going to get success. I really think Svi's going to get a lot of success before the end of the year. And he's going to quiet critics like Darren from Jakarta and show that he actually is a real NBA player, and he deserves to be on our team. And he can have a really good, crucial role on our team as a shooter for us, as a defensive, dogged kind of guy who's getting in passing lanes and stealing the ball and getting layups and stuff like that. Some of the stuff we saw earlier in the season, we were pleasantly surprised from, that went away. And it's kind of been, he's slumping. And now we're like, oh, get rid of him. But honestly, he can get back to what he was doing before. That's a really important role, a good role for somebody to have on this team. And the way his characteristics as a player really help us in some ways. Like, think about in the playoffs when we're in a tough position, he could be like that John Paxson, that guy who Pascal throws the ball out to at the end of the game, and he hits a big 3 and helps us win the game. So I don't want to denigrate Svi too much, because honestly, I see him being very crucial and important to us in the playoffs. So we need to pay attention to that. Tom Duke, best years of your lives, I hope. I'm talking about the birthday people, I hope. Yes, hopefully. Callie, I really love Justin's game lately. I heard he does 200 3-point shots every day. He does 200 3-point shots from every spot. He goes to one corner, he does 200 shots. He goes to the other corner, does 200 shots. And then he probably does a couple around the top too. But he's definitely doing the 2 corners. And that's normal for quite a few NBA players do a certain amount of shots every day in certain places. I know DeMar is OCD about this. He recently talked about how much he shoots and the way he does his workouts, and the way he's gotten to the point where he makes these clutch 3-pointers over guys, like he has that last weekend where he made 2 days in a row, 3-point shots the last minute. That's repetition. That's going over and over and over again. And Justin's that kind of guy, and he's doing that. I want him on our team. If he's doing that. Oh, yeah. Great point, Callie. Marlon Toby, interesting. Malachi Flynn was in the same draft class as Zion, Bane, Ja Morant, Jordan Poole, RJ Barrett, Darius Garland, and we pick him. I don't remember where we picked in that draft. I don't think we had a super high pick. I don't know. Listen, I don't want to get, I don't want to turn on guys too much. I understand the whole thing. We're frustrated with him in some ways, but honestly, he hasn't really played a whole lot in the last couple games. So we haven't really seen him screw up too much in the near future, in the near recent past. But, let's see what happens today. like I said, we got to give these guys chances throughout the whole year. The offseason comes, then we make decisions with our roster, and then we see who's still around here for the next year. We'll see what happens. But we gotta ride with these guys, and we gotta believe in them as fan nation. That's part of the reason. Part of the thing I don't like about the Raptors fans is we turn on our guys way too quick. Like, we're such perfectionists that we need them to be absolutely perfect. And we've treated Kyle, DeMar, Pascal, Fred, we treated all these guys horribly at different times just because they've been slumping. So let's keep a whole wide perspective on possibilities and realms of things and just be supportive of them. I've often used this analogy. It's like if your spouse or your partner has a bad day at work and they totally shit the bed at work and they mess things up there, you don't yell at them when they come home. You try to be supportive of them and loving and tell them it's going to be all right. You got the next day to make it better. And that's the way we should be with our players. Like, if they shit the bed and they're horrible, yeah, we can dog them. We can say, yeah, you should have played better, but we should be supportive in a way. We should come at it from a supportive kind of angle and not like, you're suck, we want you out of here kind of angle. Because I hate that. It's loyalty, guys. It's about loyalty. It's about not going back and forth between mistreating your guys, disrespecting your guys, and being respectful to your guys. They deserve our respect because honestly, getting the NBA in itself is such a hard accomplishment, and that is a fantastic. How many of us can say we went to the NBA? I don't think anybody on here has gone to the NBA, so it's that kind of thing. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into this kind of stuff. Let's just keep going. Let's see. Okay, when Fred was off, the Raps lost the second most points in the league after Joker. That's what they switched that position with other stars like Barnes. Yeah, I mean, when Fred was leaving the game, we were having huge problems, and they needed to make an adjustment. And now it seems like we cruise. Even with Fred out of the game, he can sit on the bench, and we're not worried about him being off the on the bench for too long. Like, he seems more relaxed, that he's not so pressured to have to be in the game for like 40 minutes of the game, like earlier in the season. Now he's getting a little bit between 30 to 35 minutes a game, which is way better, way better and we need this to continue. Tom Duke, Champagne is such a great undrafted pickup. His motor is fantastic. Yeah, this is another one of these guys like Fred VanVleet that, he's undrafted. He chose our team. There were a lot of teams in the league soliciting him to come and join their training camp, and he specifically picked the Raptors out of many teams, and that says a lot too, is he saw our franchise and what we're doing, and he knew that this was the place to be. So that you got to give him that too. Alistair, Nurse really running forwards only off our bench, literally just forwards. Yeah, this is the future. These guys aren't necessarily totally forwards. They're kind of forwards, they're guards, they're centers. They're all the things we're talking about we might possibly lack, as well as being forwards. So I love it. I think this really is the future. I think that more teams in the league are really going to try and mimic what we're doing with positionless. The more they see it, the more they see it against them, and the more they see us have success with this, they're going to be behind us trying to do exactly what we're doing. And it may be tough for shorter guys to get into this league very soon. It may be like, you need to be like 6'5", 6'7" at least to be in this league. You got to be really, really skilled if you're under that. So let's see what's going on. Marlon, but all those guys except Babe were picked before Flynn. Okay, Bane, except for Bane, were picked before G. Okay, so the only relevant one in that that argument is the Bane thing that Monty brought up originally. Is that we could have picked Bane, but we picked Flynn instead. Well, it is what it is. We picked, maybe it's a character thing. Maybe they talked to Malachi. They really liked his character. Maybe they thought that like he would fit really well with them. You also got to realize that, some of these guys get picked by the players that we already got. Like Fred was advocating the general managers, Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri, to select Delano Banton. Like, he had been around Delano, around Toronto, and he said, I like this kid. I think you guys should try and get him. He actually solicited our guys to get Delano. And it may be a similar kind of thing that where maybe like Fred or Kyle was sitting in the room where they're talking about point guards that they like in the league that are coming up. We need a replacement for you guys. Who do you see out of this college group that looks like he would be a character fit or somebody that you guys would like to teach as an understudy? And they may have been like, we like Malachi. And that may be part of the reason why we drafted him, is that Kyle and Fred were telling Masai, yeah, we like this Malachi kid. Let's bring him in and he can work under us. We don't know. I do know that the players do get some say and like some of the things like talking about who they like and stuff because they value their opinion. Like they want to hear from Kyle what he thinks, like his astute opinion about a guy and stuff like that. They're almost like scouts. So let's see. Yeah, I love all forwards. I think that the forward thing is really good, honestly. And Fred is an anomaly on this team, and he should be an anomaly. And once again, he's somebody who should be around as long as he wants to. But it may be once Fred leaves, we only have really tall guys. Like this may be how we operate from now on. That we're going to bring in more guys like Bonga, more guys like DJ Wilson, and not as many guys like Malachi. In the future, we'll see. Okay. Tom Duke, love that you're uber positive, and I do try to be so as well. Go Raptors and all you people. Yeah. I mean, it's just honestly, there's so much negativity in this world. There's so much silly crap with politics and dumb stuff in this world, so much jadedness, so much like misery. The pandemic's been a miserable thing. So let's have a shine of light. Let's have that little bit of light, that little bit of positivity and stuff like that. That's just why it's like, you guys can be critical. I don't mind us being critical and let's talking about it, but let's not beat it over the dead horse. Like I know that recently, we've talked a lot about Svi and Malachi, and we understand what's happening with them and they're struggling. But ultimately, like I said, we as a Raptor Freak cult, we need to support them and want them to succeed. We don't want them to be bums and have to chase them out of town. We want them to succeed. We don't want Aaron Baines kind of guys. We don't want tragic kind of guys. We want guys that we can root for, that we love. And Malachi's still part of the family, and he's somebody that we want to be really good while he's with us. And if he's not with us, they make a decision and he's gone. That's sad, and it sucks because we want him to be succeed. So let's see. Sue, Flynn looked really good coming into the season. Oh, it jumped again. Let me get back. This is just a bump in the road. He will get there. He wants to improve. Fred even said that Flynn is always up on him to learn and improve. Yeah, let's just give him a chance. Andrew, I hope Gary can get going tonight. Yeah, Gary. Gary's had a couple bit of slumping a little bit, kind of, but not really. He's a spot guy. He gets his spots. He makes shots. He helps us carry the water in times when we're having a really hard time just getting baskets. He gets them for us and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree. I'd like to see a big game from Gary today. It could happen. We'll see. It's sad that some organizations can destroy someone's career. Yeah, they're just mismanaged. They're horrible. Part of that was our organization. Like in the early years of our organization, we were really inept. We were really bad. I love Glenn Grunwald. Rob Bobcat Cock was an absolute joke. He was horrible. He's a big reason why Vince Carter left Toronto, is because our management was so piss poor at that time. And, there's a lot of teams that have piss poor management right now on the down low. And we just don't think about it or realize it because we're so lucky. That's the thing we should have a lot of gratitude, is we have really good management now. And that wasn't the case. The first half of this franchise's existence, we had horrible management from 95 until like 2010. We had horrible management. And now on this other side, since Masai's came, we are kicking ass. Is really Tim Lewicki and him separating the Raptors from the Leafs in MLSE, bringing TFC to Toronto, doing all the things, starting the OVO Center in the 905. These were all huge, huge things that changed our luck. And Masai Ujiri coming in and being in charge was another one, really huge one. So, yeah, it sucks. It's sad that that kind of thing can happen. Fred was behind DeLon Wright, from what I remember. That's right. That's exactly right. It was Kyle, DeLon, and then Fred. When he first came in, Fred had to really earn his spot. And this is the other thing that's interesting about Fred. Fred was in the G League with Chris, I think, when Chris was MVP. I'm not totally positive, but they won the championship. They won a G League championship, Pascal and Fred. And, that was a big deal. That really helped push him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And Delano went somewhere else, and we kept Fred. So that's very interesting. Yeah, Champagne, 6 boards in 4 minutes. Tom Duke, Svi would make a big difference. He could start being consistent. Yeah. Svi, Champagne, and Yuta could be our bench studs. They just got to get it going. Like, never stop shooting. Keep going. I wrote Svi a message through Instagram earlier this week because he was celebrating Fred VanVleet's accomplishment, the triple-double, celebrating his teammates and good things happening to them. And I told him, I was like, look, I said the same thing to him that I said to Fred when I met him in person. I said, shooters got to keep shooting. Your shot's going to start falling. We believe in you. We want you to succeed. We want you to make your shots, Fee, and we know you're going to make them. I wrote him that on Instagram in a message on one of his posts. So hopefully, he does, that happens, and he realizes that, and hopefully he'll keep shooting. He'll get success soon. DeMar missed a few free throws one game, and after a game, he stayed behind and shot free throws. He probably missed these free throws. We lost the game, and the Toronto Raptors fan base turned on him and told him he was a piece of shit. And that's what I'm saying. We can't be so quick to turn on our guys like this. They're going to have success. They're going to have failure. That's just part of the game. And it's worse when your people who are supposed to be supporting you and behind you turn on you and just start jabbing at you. Like Kyle went through this a lot with us. Like think about all the times he struggled in the playoffs and played like shit because he was so tired because we wore him out the whole season. And then we got in the playoffs and we had to play LeBron and he looked like shit. And him and DeMar would shoot like 5 for 30 together. And we just talk about how crap they both were and just shit all over them. That was the worst. We should have never been doing that, because they needed to have the growing pains and learn that kind of stuff and realize that that's part of what's happening with Pascal, that in the last couple of years, his struggles and his problems had been those growing pains, the same ones that DeMar and Kyle had to go through in the early 2010s. So it's all perspective, keeping an idea of perspective that there's negative and positive, there's success, there's failure, and we need to allow for both for our guys. Let's see. Nurse likes guys like Rondé Hollis Jefferson, play hard and can cut and shoot. Yeah. Rondé was good, except he was a little bit too short for our team now. I don't even think he's in the league at this point. It's very weird that Rondé's not in the league, because I honestly think he's a very skilled, good player, and he's young still. He could still play in the NBA, but it could be something like maybe he's got all the tools and the talent, but he's not the worker. Maybe he's not putting in the time behind the scenes like the others. I'm not trying to slander him or anything, but it could be that. It could be different things like that we don't know. There's a lot more tip of the iceberg. We don't see the rest underneath. Alistair, it's crazy because if we're so hard on our players, then we should compete for a title, right? Well, we are hard on our players, and we do compete for a title quite often, or a playoff caliber kind of top team. That's part of it. Is all these teams like Golden State and Utah and Denver, they have fans that are just like us. They're very critical of their team, and they do the same thing. And that's part of what these really top teams is part of it. So yes, in a way, our being critical and putting that pressure on our players is in some ways positive and good. But I just think it's unnecessary to a degree. And I don't want to be a part of that noise. For me personally, I don't. Like I was pissed off at Svi earlier a couple of weeks ago just because I'm frustrated because I know that the people will turn on him, that he needs to do well so people won't turn on him. That's why I'm frustrated. I just want him to make shots when he comes back. And then finally, everybody can just be like, oh, I'm glad he's on this team. He's a role player. He's doing well. But Nick can't really play him right now ahead of Justin. Justin's playing so much better. And he's going to have to figure out when he's going to plug him in and try him again. It may be tonight against New Orleans. We'll see. Let's see. Duke saying, has Champagny supplanted Svi off the bench? Yes. Yeah, I totally think so. I think that his production and his quality of what he's been doing in the short stints in the last couple of games make him like next on the rotation after our main 8 guys. He's the 9th guy right now, is Justin, for sure. I believe that. Callie, that's why I love your channel. I hate how so many fans are brutal towards players when they're not playing well. Do you think Golden State fans are yelling trade Curry when he had a couple bad games? I know. It's perspective. And sometimes people in their own lives, they just want an outlet to be negative and just be mad. And that's fine. Maybe it's healthier to be negative towards Raptors, millionaires, people that are making a lot of money, and that they're, in a way, what we say is kind of inconsequential. But you get that outlet and you get it out in that area instead of something like maybe with people in your lives or like people at work or something like that. Sure, I understand. But I appreciate that, Callie, because honestly, this is a space for that. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we're all about, the cult of the Raptor Freak. This is one of our main tenets. And I'm honestly, at some point, if we really get into this, we get the hoods, I'll start doing incantations at the beginning where it's like, entrust in Messiah. Just win, bet on yourself. I'll just start doing all these like, we can make it very ritualistic at some point, just for fun. Maybe just screw with people. They're like, oh, the cult of the Raptor Freak. And then they come and check it out on YouTube, and it's like me in a hood in a dark room with a candle, and I'm just like doing like monk chanting or something like that, and it's all about the Raptors. Oh, that'd be hilarious. Anyway, no, I'll do it this way, trust me. But I was like thinking about that. I was like, if we're gonna become a cult, well, let's just go full in on it. Let's get candles and turn the lights off, and I'll do like we'll have a ritualistic open and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe that would scare people off too much. Anyway, Duke, thanks. I noticed you're as well. I play guitar and drums, rocks. The name. Yeah, your name. I play on my last name. Okay. Cool. So you're a musician, Duke. You don't play at Duke's down around the corner from me at Leslie and Queen, do you? That's a great establishment. I live really close to that place. I know the Sweet Daddy Siki, the old Toronto wrestler, used to do karaoke nights at that place. That's what I think of when I hear Duke's, is that bar on Queen at Leslie. Let's see. Tom Duke, Delano. Oh, man, it jumped again. Delano got picked partly because Fred loved what he showed in their practice facility. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They asked them their opinions of these young guys who came in for pre-draft workouts, and Fred pointed out Delano specifically. He said, this kid is somebody I like and I can work with. And that was part of the reason why we picked Delano, other than him being from Toronto and being Rexdale's finest. Let's see. Alistair, after we won a championship, some of our fan base became toxic. Like other teams, we need a reminder of how far we came. Part of it is bandwagoners. Like, honestly, they're just people that like to feel winning. And when the team isn't exactly winning, they're not actually with us. They go away. They go and pay attention to other things. They're not with us. Like, we're here every day, whether they're winning or losing, whether they're in Tampa, whether they have COVID, whether we lose 16 games in a row. I'm going to be doing this. I don't care. That's the fair weather fans. And they showed up en masse. Like, we had 2 million people at the parade. Not everybody had been there with them that whole time leading up to 2019. So they don't have the perspective and the understanding that Alistair's talking about right here. And that's right. They can be toxic because they're just win, win, win. You win. You're not winning now. What are you? You're no good. I don't want to be around these people. I want to be around the people that stuck with us, that were there in the years with Bosch and Bargnani, that were there in the years when we had Alvin Robertson and Damon Stoudemire and Walt Williams. I want to be there with the people that are the real ones that have been there. And I can tell a lot of y'all that are here with me are the real ones that were rooting the Raptors on before they won the championship. And they didn't just show up then. And now, since, they expect them to just continue to be exactly there. Well, last year really shook a lot of them off. But if we start having success again, they'll come back. And I like everybody coming and cheering for them. But who you're talking about, Alistair, is not the kind of fan that I want for this channel. The kind of fan I want for this channel is the person who's been there with them through the thick and the thin. Oh, yeah. MK47, Boston drafted Bane and traded him, predicting the future is difficult. It is. It really is difficult. And honestly, Masai has a great track record. The Raptors franchise as a whole, over the years, you think about all of our draft picks. You put them in a room with all of the draft picks for Golden State or all the draft picks for other teams, and we have more home runs than misses. You put our guys in a room, all the people that have been drafted by the Raptors, they have been quality players for the most part. I even include Bargnani. Bargnani was the number one pick in the draft, but he was a quality NBA player for 10 years in this league. He did a lot of good things, and he just didn't do certain things to help us. And we had a badly built team at that time. So that was a lot of the problem, was our team was built so horribly. We shouldn't have had Bosch and Bargnani be our number one and our number two, because they were too similar and we had no physicality. So I even include Bargnani. Some people say Bargnani was a bust. They're full of shit. Bargnani was a quality number one pick compared to a lot of number one picks that have been drafted in the history of the NBA. Oh my gosh, we can go over them. Olu Wakandi. We could start talking about like all kinds of different people. And, the people that picked Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan way back, these mistakes happen. They make mistakes and they overlook guys. And, we get gold late, like Pascal Siakam, stuff like that. That's the thing. We get gold late, like Delano Banton. That's gold late, and we're going to see it. It's really tricky, and we really do a good job of balancing what we're looking for, whether it's talent, skill, with personality and character. So it's tough to find all that. Anselm's rooting for Flynn. We drafted Flynn for a reason. We picked him. He's Red Van Vliet for a reason. Malachi is one of our dudes, and we ride with him, even if he's not playing well. It sucks when we have to rely on him and he's not playing well, and we have to play him. And that was last year. But this year, we don't have to play him. So he's really got to get his level up and earn those minutes again. And that's the tough thing. That's the process. You got to earn the minutes again, Malachi. So, all right, let's keep going. Tom Duke. All right, a new subject, OG. OG's going to take over as the top option soon. He has played well since return, but will do even more. Wow. Wow, that's an interesting prediction, Tom. I like it. I think that it's going to be a shifting top option every game, like we've seen recently. It's Pascal one night, it's Fred one night, it'll be OG one night. I think one night it'll be Gary sometime. And wait until Scotty Barnes is our leading scorer for a game someday when that's going to happen, because it will. You know it will. Scotty will be the leading scorer for the Raptors in a game at some point. Maybe not soon, because he's so unselfish and he's got to really build that part of his game. But when it comes to the point where he's asked and called upon and it's on his broad shoulders, he will carry us and he will do some amazing things. I believe it. It's just the developing towards that. But yeah, all these guys could be our leading scorer. But I like that idea. I'd like to see OG get a period of time near future where he is just the man. Like he's dominating, just like he did at the beginning of the season, in the preseason, and at the very beginning of the year. He was kind of doing this kind of role for us before he got hurt and he was out for a while. So, but I like that statement. It's really good. MK, Gary just needs the other team to contest his shots more. It's so strange. This is a weird thing about DeMar back in the day. He used to piss me off because he was purposely trying to make his shots harder by going right into defenders or like getting 2 or 3 guys on him. And he tried to make the shot, and he was saying it in the interview after. He's like, yeah, I know I'm making the shots harder on myself, but that's part of how I'm trying to train myself. I'm like, don't do that. Take an easier percentage shot and save yourself. But sometimes guys just work better under pressure, or they want to learn under pressure. And it does seem like Gary does really well when somebody's right up near him, or like he can just kind of sidestep or something, or even if somebody has a hand in his face, the shot seems like it goes in better than when he's actually completely open. It's really weird. And it may be that kind of feeling, that pressure, I'm going to make this no matter what, competitor kind of thing in him for that. Alistair, we have 4 players that can score 20, and that in itself makes contenders. A lot of people are making a big deal out of how we have like 5 guys averaging 15 points a game. And that's something that hasn't been seen in the NBA since like early days, like the 60s or something like that. This is like old Celtics kind of shit. Like the decade of the 60s, the Celtics won every single championship pretty much. And they had like an all-star team. They had like 8 guys that were all-stars. They had the best players. They had like Bill Russell, Bob Cousy, Bill Sharman, all these guys, Sam Jones, they had really balanced scoring on those teams. And that's the interesting thing about our team, is it's kind of a throwback in that way. We have a bunch of guys that are averaging 15 points a game. That's a huge accomplishment in itself, that we have like 5 guys doing that. And it's the starters. The 5 starters are averaging 15 points each. And that's awesome. I love that balance. And that's what part of what we're talking about right now. With any of these guys could score the 20, any of them at any time. Gary's great with his hands in his face, good at bad shots. Yeah, it's really weird. He just wants that competition, I think. Andrew says fans used to turn on Fred all the time, but he's so good now. Just got to give players time to develop. Yeah, that's part of the crush of the NBA, the pressure just to make the team. Like some of these G League guys are just trying to get something going, like DJ Wilson, getting their shot, the pressure of that. And then there's different levels of pressure you get. Like if you fuck up on the court, then all of a sudden you have pressure from the fans and pressure from people. And that it sucks, man. It's not easy to make this league. It's not easy to do what Pascal and Fred have done in their careers. It's not easy to do what DeMar has done. It's not easy to do what Kyle's done. It looks easy, but it isn't. They've worked so hard, and there's so much to what they've done. It really is. And I hate when we turn on them. We should not turn on Pascal ever again. We should not turn on Fred ever again, because we know they're winners and they're going to come around. And if they mess up and we lose something because of that, we just chalk it up as experience and we go forward with it. And hopefully it never happens again exactly like that. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Alistair, I love the competitiveness, only makes us better, really. Yeah, the competitiveness among the team, having so many good players, like Precious being there, competing with Scotty, competing with OG, competing with Pascal. And in a way, they're not really competing. Like it's more like we would like to play really well all together, and we're competing against ourselves. like as a collective. We want to be the best quality as a team together, all together. And that's the difference. It's like some teams, like the stuff that's happening with Brown and Tatum right now in Boston isn't completely healthy because there isn't really a collective mindset in some ways. You can tell Tatum's feelings are getting hurt in different ways. That in down low, Jaylen Brown's been better than him all along. And that this is different. This is a different kind of conflict or like competing on the team than what we have. Like our guys aren't competing like this or getting all salty or worried about how it looks outside. They just want to play and get the W. They're all saying it in the interviews, the same thing. They just want this W. And that's all that matters. And they're not worried about their egos. They're not worried about all-stars. They're not worried about their stats. They're not worried about if they're getting enough shots. All they care about is the W. So let's see. Okay. G saying no, that DeMar missed free throws was with the Bulls and they won, and he stayed back in practice. A lot of these guys do this, like especially if they lose a game with a free throw or a shot, they'll stay on the court for 2 hours afterwards and they'll practice that exact thing over and over and over again just to try and erase them doing the failure. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. The mascot matchup. Okay, I think I did it yesterday. I mean, honestly, it's really just I'll paint the scene. Okay. Down near Ontario Place, there's these seagulls and there's like ducks and geese. They're really annoying. Like I used to work down there, and the swans are mean. They're assholes. Like they will bite your finger. They used to bite little kids' fingers all the time. And one day a pelican showed up. That pelican came to Toronto, and it's just sitting out there next to the pizza kiosk behind the Cinesphere at Ontario Place. You know the one I'm talking about. You go into the Cinesphere, you sit and you watch a 3D movie in that weird round building out at Ontario Place, and then you come out the back and there's a pizza right there, and you can order some pizza, and there's just a pelican sitting on the table there at the pizza kiosk, and he's been eating some fish, and he's just taking a big shit all over the table where people would like to sit and eat their pizza. So we had to hire someone to clean the tables and get that kind of shit off the table. Well, we hired a raptor. It was a big, huge dinosaur. It was stuck in some ice in northern Ontario. It de-thawed, and we shipped it down to Toronto because we thought it'd be great to have around because we have a team called the Toronto Raptors here. And we brought the raptor to Ontario Place, and it ate the pelican because the pelican shat all over the pizza table. So that's our matchup there. That's our mascot matchup. The pelican shat on the table, so the raptor came and ate it. Just ate it, gobbled it up, just like it was some popcorn chicken from KFC or something like that. Just all right down the gullet, gone. And that's how easy it was for them to beat them. And I'm hoping that's how it goes today for the Raptors and the Pelicans today. Oh, yeah. There's your mascot matchup. Tom, I tried to make a whole narrative and a story to it. That Pelican should not have been shitting on that pizza table. That's where people like to eat. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, enough of that silliness. Duke, make sure we vote every day for Fred, Pascal, and OG. Let's go. Yeah. We need to vote, guys. Keep voting. It's really good that they have the different ways of voting where you can do it through Twitter and with just hashtags and stuff like that. I remember back in the day when you got that little piece of paper when you put the holes through and you had to put it back in the box at the game. And that's how they did it. They did it all by paper ballot. There was no computer. There was no nothing. You could do it that way. You had to go to an NBA game and get the little thing and punch the little holes out to make your vote count. So it really changed a lot. I love the hashtags. The hashtags are really good to get a lot of votes quick. So, okay, excuse me. All stars, let's get that chip. Excuse me. Duke saying Barnes was the leading scorer in the first Boston game, so he has done it. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I forgot about that. Barnes in the beginning started really fast. That route against Boston, the second game of the season, he was the leading scorer in that game. Good point out. Exactly. I remember I actually was reviewing my old videos, and I had written the next day, Scotty Barnes reveals his superstar powers against Boston because he did. That's a good memory. I forgot about that. Alistair, if Pascal was playing like this against Boston, we would have gotten out of that series. Yeah. In that bubble, that 7-game series where we just barely lost, yeah, we would have won that series if Pascal had been more physically ready going into the bubble. It was just a mistake I don't even blame Pascal for it. I blame the organization that you let such an important franchise player sit at home and stagnate and do nothing when, the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Heat were sending all their guys all kinds of working out and they're doing all this kind of stuff. We just dropped the ball. We forgot about our guys. And some of them did good. Like Serge was working out like crazy. I remember at that time, There were different players posting stuff that they were doing, and Pascal just wasn't one of them. And it showed when the bubble started, and it sucks. And he realizes that he fucked up with that. And I don't think he'll ever make that mistake again. Like during this little brief like COVID time where he was out, they were making sure that he was working out. They were bringing him to OVO. They took care of him this time. So we made a mistake at that point, and it cost us something in the bubble. And honestly, that's part of the advantage that the Lakers had to get to that championship, was that they were privately working out that whole time during the pandemic when they probably shouldn't have been. So it is what it is. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But I totally agree. If Pascal had been 100% or the correct Pascal going in the bubble, the one that we had seen in the season before the season stopped, we would have won that 7-game series with Boston. We definitely would have won. We wouldn't have had to even rely on OG hitting some crazy shot to win one of the games or going to overtime or any kind of stuff. We would have skunked them. I honestly believe that, because like Boston, they've been kind of a pretender in some ways all along, that they've had really good players, but they don't really mesh. Like Kemba was a mistake that didn't work out with them. And, they lost some good players that they had before that I thought were better for them. Like I thought Hayward and Rozier were better players for them in some ways. And it is what it is. But yeah, it is what it is. Can't go back and change it. All right, guys, we're almost at 2 hours. Pelicans tonight. Let's beat the Pelicans. Let's gobble them up like popcorn chicken, like it's nothing. Got to really watch and collapse on Jonas, not let him get crazy like 30 points, 20 rebounds. We don't need to see that from him tonight. So try and contain him. And then obviously Brandon Ingram, high caliber all-star player, lots of length on him, a lot of athleticism, but we have guys that can match him physically with that kind of stuff, whether it's the speed, the length, the strength. Just keep up with him. Give him some OG-itis today. Give him some Pascal fever, a little bit of Barnes syndrome, a little bit of precious maladies. Just hold him down. And Graham is another guy I don't like. Is going to be tough to play. And also Nickel off the bench. So they don't have overall very good talent, but they do have dangerous guys that are going to be here. And I haven't heard any of these guys aren't coming, other than the guys who have already been injured and not playing for them already, like Hart and Satoransky and Zion. So, all right, let's go. 6 straight today. Let's get 6 in the 6, baby. Let's go, Raptors. Let's beat the Pelicans. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Thanks for being here with me again this morning, guys. I'll be back with the reaction tomorrow. And let's just enjoy a nice Sunday evening game. Hopefully it has the right result, and we have a nice warm welcome for Jonas back. I know there's nobody going to be there, but still, it's going to be nice to see him and see him pal around with his old buddies like OG and stuff like that. Let's go! Woo! 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 Yeah!